Welcome back. All right, something a little different today. Now, it is kind of a news of the day video. I will add that to that playlist. But we're going to also talk about the AHL playoff picture, and I'm wearing an AHL jersey, so we can talk about that. So the Hart finalists have been revealed today. Connor Hellebuyck of the Winnipeg Jets, up for the Hart. Leon Draisaitl of the Oilers, also up for the Hart. And Nikita Kucherov of the Tampa Bay Lightning, also up for the Hart Trophy. And so we'll see who ends up winning it. I've put it in the order I think it'll go. I think Hellebuyck probably wins it. A lot of buzz about Hellebuyck this year and whether or not he should be MVP. There's been MVP chance in Winnipeg for months. And it does feel like the press could very well vote for a goaltender for the first time in a very long time for league's most valuable player. Speaking of the Jets, Mark Scheifele is not going to be traveling with Winnipeg for Game 6 against St. Louis. That is a huge blow to the Winnipeg Jets. They do have, I guess you could say they have the cushion that, if they lose Game 6, they can win at home, but you want to win Game 6. You don't want to go to Game 7. Game 7 really is a coin flip, and so the Jets are going to want to round this out in 6, and now they're going to have to do it without Scheifele. Does make it much more difficult. So we have 4 games tonight in the National Hockey League. We'll talk about that part first, and then we'll come over here. Toronto's in Ottawa against the Sens. Ottawa needs to win this, but it feels like so does Toronto. The Toronto Maple Leafs were up 3-0, looked home and cooled, and then they're not. And there's all the discussion about Toronto and their struggles come playoff time, which I kind of had to document yesterday because it is remarkable how many struggles that the Leafs have had over what is now year 9. So we'll see whether, and I mean year 9 of them being in the playoffs and having their playoff struggles. So we'll see how things go tonight. Can they close out Ottawa? If Ottawa forces a Game 7, I don't know. I don't know if Toronto wins a Game 7 at home. We have seen that storyline of a Game 7, and I did see the comment yesterday of, well, Ottawa's never won a Game 7. Toronto's last Game 7 win was 2004 against Ottawa, so that was 21 years ago. I don't know that that's necessarily an advantage, but we may find out. Then at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, Vegas in Minnesota against the Wild. The Wild have to win this to force a Game 7, and all of the teams that are down going into these games tonight are all saying the right things about better effort and better play, and we'll tidy things up in our own zone. All saying the same things, so there's not much point in reporting on it. I thought about it. I thought, well, I could put this quote up here, and it's like, they're all saying the same thing. So, yeah, Minnesota knows they have to win. Vegas would like to cut this one off at 6. They don't want to go to a Game 7 either. Then at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Dallas in Colorado against the Avs. Dallas, of course, up 3-2. Colorado has to win 2 in a row. They have to win at home tonight, and then they have to win in Dallas. And then at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, LA and Edmonton get things going. Edmonton, the home club here, and want to win at home. They're up 3-2. They don't want to go to a Game 7 in LA. Even though they won Game 5 in LA, and it was the most lopsided game according to analytics that we've seen in the NHL since 2016-2017, I mean playoffs, you just don't want to go back for a Game 7. Because LA is going to be better in a Game 7. And I would imagine they'll have a better effort tonight. They kind of have to, or they're done. So we'll see what happens. Let me know your picks in the comment section below, all that fun stuff. But yeah, 4 games, and then I would think once we know how many of these are going to go to a Game 7, I believe all those Game 7s will be on Saturday, I have a feeling, so let's just say all 4 of these series end tonight, then Carolina-Washington's Game 1 would be on Saturday, would be my guess. Just throwing that out there, that would be my guess. The NHL does not like to have a Saturday come and go during the playoffs without playoff games, and so we'll see how that turns out, but yeah, we could see 4 series end tonight. Absolutely. We could just have, 1 series left at that point? Ridiculous. I would actually be kind of sad if we don't see Game 7s. Game 7s are always so intense and so stressful, but they're also some of the best hockey you can get. So speaking of some of the best hockey you can get, AHL playoff hockey's pretty good too. Abbotsford did get out of the play-in round, so they're one of the final 16 as we get into what I guess you could qualify as first round. It's the division semifinals. We'll start with the Atlantic. Hershey won the first game, I believe, last night. So for Lehigh Valley, they got to win Game 2, which is tomorrow. I'm wearing Hershey because, really, the Capitals Farm Club has been good for quite some time. Charlotte and Providence, Game 1 for them is tomorrow as well. Florida's farm team is Charlotte. Boston's farm team is Providence. So, I mean, Florida and Boston don't like each other. I would imagine Charlotte and Providence won't like each other either. Should make for an interesting matchup, and that's your Atlantic Division semifinals. In the North Division, Laval's got a 1-0 series lead. Game 2 goes tomorrow. They're playing against the Cleveland Monsters. So I'm using the NHL logos instead of using AHL logos for this. Just those are the parent clubs. And there are some NHL teams still in the playoffs that have AHL franchises that are in the playoffs as well. I always find that interesting. And of course, in the case of Laval, they're up 1-0. Well, now with Montreal's out, now they can send down some young players and make Laval all that much stronger and make the job that much more difficult for Cleveland. The other North Division semifinals between Rochester and Syracuse. Rochester's ahead 2-0. This series had both games on the weekend. Game 3 is tonight in Syracuse. So for Syracuse, this is a must-win. If they lose this one, they're out. It would be a sweep for Rochester. Rochester has a long and storied history with the Buffalo Sabres organization, and Syracuse has a pretty long affiliation with Tampa as well. Then we get into the Central Division semifinals. Game 1 tonight between Milwaukee and Rockford. Milwaukee, of course, Nashville's farm team. Rockford, Chicago's farm team. And Rockford's had a pretty good year. We'll see if they can win a series against Milwaukee. Should be a fun one there. The Texas Stars are up 1-0 on the Grand Rapids Griffins. Game 2's on Monday. The scheduling in the AHL is always interesting. And so Game 2 in that series is Monday. But the series are always spread out. You usually don't have that many games in the middle of the week. And yeah, so that's what happens, is Game 2 being almost like a week after the first game between Texas and Grand Rapids. Then the Pacific Division semifinals, which neither of these series have started yet. The Colorado Eagles and the San Jose Barracuda. So I put Eagles and Barracuda instead of the city names because I would have Colorado and San Jose. So that doesn't work. But yeah, the Eagles and Barracuda, that Game 1 goes tomorrow. Fun jerseys between those two teams, at the very least. And then Game 1 tonight. Abbotsford's in Coachella Valley for Games 1 and 2. And then the rest of the series would be in Abbotsford. I think Games 3, 4, and 5 are all scheduled for Abbotsford, but anyways, that's a whole scheduling thing. 5 should be in Coachella Valley, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, so I know Game 3 is in Abbotsford on Wednesday. I would love to go to a Game 3 on Wednesday. I don't think I'm going to be able to. I think it's going to be NHL playoffs. And if I skip an NHL playoff game to go to an AHL playoff game, it's not the best of moves by me. It does make me feel kind of sad, though. I hope Abbotsford can stay in this, but Coachella Valley is going to be tough. Coachella Valley, back-to-back seasons where they've gone all the way to the Calder Cup final. And for people who might be new-ish to the channel, once the Stanley Cup final's done, usually the Calder Cup is still going, and I pay the money to the AHL site, and I stream the games on my computer, and then I do full-on game reviews for those ones as well once the NHL playoffs are done. So we'll see how things go. Let me know your thoughts regarding the AHL series as well, if you want. And if you're in Syracuse, we'll see whether or not they can defeat Rochester. So I had to do that today. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. Wouldn't make any sense for me to do this tomorrow if Syracuse loses, and then I'd be like, all right, so round 2, and that one's already done. Done. But it does mean Rochester might be waiting a while for the winner of Laval and Cleveland, depending on how long that series goes. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support, as always. I will talk to you again soon.